I did a speedrun to collect all 3 of Stardew Valley's secret statues as fast as I could. I collected Vincent's favorite toy Foroguemon, Clint's favorite toy HTMGF, and Gus's favorite toy Pinky Lemon. But here's the twist. I did the speedrun twice using 2 completely different strategies in a race against myself. For my first approach, I was Tea Leaves McGee, and I made gold primarily by selling tea saplings. These take a while to get into production, but sell for a whopping 500 gold each. For my second approach, I was Clay Lover 3000. And I made gold primarily by selling clay. These can be farmed en masse immediately and they sell for 20 gold each. Which of these wacky gold making strategies would come out on top? Spoiler alert, it ends up being way closer than I thought it would be. So what exactly is involved in collecting these 3 statues? Well, to steal Vincent's favorite toy Foroguemon, I'll need to place a strange bun in Vincent's toy box. And the strange bun is a bit of a nightmare to acquire. And I'll also need 2 hearts of friendship with Vincent to access his room. To collect Clint's favorite toy HTMGF, I'll need to place a super cucumber in this box hidden in the bushes north of Clint's blacksmith. And a super cucumber is kind of a tricky fish to catch. To collect Gus's favorite toy Pinky Lemon, I'll need to place duck mayonnaise in this box hidden in Gus's saloon's back room. And for that, I guess I'll need a big coop and a duck. In summary, I need a strange bun, a super cucumber, and a duck mayonnaise to complete this run. Alright, let's get into it. For both runs, I began clearing some space and planting my parsnips. I'll need these as food for energy later on, and they'll also be handy for farming experience because I need farming level 2 to craft a mayonnaise machine to get the duck mayo. By 3 minutes in, Clay Lover 3000 had already slept to day 2 and picked up a few cheeky daffodils on his way to the beach. Meanwhile, Tea Leaves McGee was still on day 1 wandering around in search of forageables. Spring forageables will be key for both runs as daffodils are a gift that Vincent likes, so they'll be handy to get 2 hearts of friendship with him. But spring forageables are way more important for Tea Leaves McGee. See, for Tea Leaves McGee's run, I'll be making gold by crafting tea saplings, the recipe for which Carolyn gives you at 2 hearts of friendship. The recipe requires 2 of any wild seeds, 5 wood, and 5 fiber. And spring wild seeds can be crafted if you have 1 of each spring forageable, a dandelion, daffodil, leek, and horseradish. That's why I chose the forest farm, and that's why I was on the march in search of forageables. Meanwhile, over on my clay loving run, I was having a stinky start. I did a challenge a few weeks back where I learned the clay farming trick, and if you don't know what that is, basically you can predict where clay will spawn by following a simple pattern that looks like this. Well, I thought I remembered the pattern from my previous challenge, but I didn't. So I stuffed it up and fluffed around for a few minutes before giving up on day 2 and passing out with a measly 12 clay, which is a terrible start considering I was hoping for 100 plus per day. I slept till day 4, watered my parsnips, and headed back to the beach to try again, except I was stubborn, and instead of doing some research to remind myself of the correct clay pattern, I tried to wing it again, and yeah, I failed exactly the same way as the first time. At this point, I gave up for the day, picked up a few more daffodils, and then bought kale from Pierre to plant to help get my farming level up to 2. On day 5, I picked the parsnips and planted the kale, and suddenly it was already 13 minutes in and I'd only collected 27 clay. And so I finally let go of my stubbornness and watched Bull TG's clay farming tutorial again for a refresher. And after that, I had 3 successful days of clay farming, getting 94, then 120, and then 128 clay on each day respectively. I made sure to keep my wallet empty so I could pass out from exhaustion on the beach without incurring a gold penalty, and this saved me a good amount of time. Meanwhile, on the tea sapling run, I'd gifted Carolyn a daffodil on day 1 to begin building friendship, and after that, the strategy became to sleep through till Saturday each week and then collect the entire week's forageables from around the map, as forageables reset on Sunday, and therefore this is the most time efficient way to collect as much as possible. On day 6, as well as grabbing every forageable I saw, I also gifted a second daffodil to Caroline. I bought some kale seeds, and by the 19-minute mark, I'd planted them and gone to bed. On spring 10, I gave Vincent a birthday present, instantly shooting my friendship with him up to 1.5 hearts. I also gave Caroline her second daffodil for the week. I did have to wait for them to emerge from their houses, so I passed the time leveling up my fishing a bit in preparation for catching a super cucumber later in the run. I returned to the farm and slept the week away while remembering to water my kale each day until Saturday. I harvested the kale and got a good chunk of the way towards level 2 farming, and then began my weekly Saturday forage. And at this point, let's take stock of where both our runs were up to at the 30-minute mark. Clay Lover 3000 had collected over 300 clay, worth around 7 grand. He'd also collected a few Daffodil Vincent gifts and planted a few kale for farming experience. Meanwhile, Tea Leaves McGee had over 1 heart of friendship with both Vincent and Caroline, had harvested his first kale crop and collected about 25 spring forageables. Both runs were into a good rhythm. From here, our clay method spent another day collecting collecting clay, and then it was spring 10, so I fished while waiting for Vincent and then gave him his birthday daffodil. Instead of running home, I continued fishing until passing out, getting my fishing level 2/3 of the way to level 2. The next day, I ran to Robin's, chopping a bunch of trees on my way to save some money on wood. I sold all my clay, bought the remaining wood and stone I needed, and ordered my coop. The next day, I fished to level 2, continuing to chip away at my fishing level, and also so that I'd have some food in my bags for energy. I then bought the remaining kale I needed to reach level 2 farming, and then continued my clay shenanigans for the next 2 days. However, for some reason, the clay pattern on the beach suddenly stopped being as effective. Only about 50% of the spots were yielding clay, and so I collected less than half of what I'd been managing earlier in the run. I was equal parts confused and outraged. Meanwhile, in Tea Leaves McGee's second half hour, I'd been keeping busy collecting forageables and growing my friendship with Caroline by keeping up with 2 daffodil gifts per week. I also planted and harvested my second round of kale, reaching farming level 2, which got me the mayonnaise machine recipe. While scouring the map for forageables, I paid a visit to read the nonsense in the community center, prompting the wizard's letter. So I went to his tower the next day to receive his psychedelic blessing and unlock the bundles. This was crucial, as donating all 4 spring forageables to the crafts room rewarded me with a whopping 30 wild seeds. And just on the 1 hour mark, I'd gained 2 hearts of friendship with Caroline, which meant I could finally enter her sunroom, triggering the friendship event that will get me the crucial tea sapling recipe in the mail from Caroline tomorrow. So let's take stock at the 1 hour mark. Tea Leaves McGee had a total of 120 wild seeds, enough to craft an insane 30,000 gold worth of tea sapling, which is more than enough to take care of this entire run's gold requirements. Meanwhile, Clay Lover 3000 was in a tight spot. He'd gotten a couple of levels of fishing and built the coop, but with the troubles at the beach, clay farming had slowed down considerably. Tea Leaves McGee was about to race ahead in the money department. And so it was time for old mate Clay Lover 3000 to get a little bit creative down at the beach. I tried starting in a different spot, and that helped one day. I gave up and moved to the other side of the beach on another day, and that helped a little bit too, but 3 days only netted me just over 200 more clay. I don't know if I was stuffing something up, but what I do know is that it was very annoying. On this 4th day of attempts, I was officially done with clay mistreating me, so I gave up and went fishing, reaching level 3. The next day, I was still discouraged about my clay troubles, and it was a good luck day, so I figured I'd head off to the mines. The mines, you ask? And I shall answer, as this is a good spot to explain about the strange bun. As mentioned earlier, to get the Foroguemon statue, I need to place a strange bun in Vincent's toy box. To get a strange bun, you need a recipe from Shane, received at 7 hearts, and this recipe requires void mayonnaise. To get 7 hearts with Shane and a void mayonnaise would take ages. Now, I realize Habu could probably do it in 15 minutes while blindfolded and using only his big toes, but as my mother has told me since I was a small boy, I will never be as good as Habu. Thankfully, there is another way, a much quicker way to get strange buns, and that is the way of Shadow Brute destruction. See, these fellas that spawn in levels 80 to 120 of the mines have a 4% chance to drop a strange bun, so diving into the mines is a crucial part of this run. The mines will also help me get the copper bar and earth crystal for the mayonnaise machine, and my approach in the mines was simple. Go there on good luck days, reach level 90 ASAP to get the obsidian sword, and then spam reset level 85 looking for shadow brutes, which I will kill with fiery vengeance. I figured upgrading the pickaxe was worth it to speed this process up, and so on my first day in the mines I made sure to farm more than 50 copper ore, enough to craft a furnace and 6 copper bars. 5 of these bars will go towards the copper pickaxe upgrade, and 1 is for the mayo machine. I then spent the next couple of days clearing my farm. Firstly, because I had completely lost confidence in the clay farming and figured collecting the wood was faster than buying it. And secondly, because I thought that trying clay farming on the farm was worth a shot. The downside of clay farming on the farm is that heaps of spots stay tilled overnight, and so I had to pickaxe them in order to reset the area. But the plus side, and this is a huge plus side, is that I don't have to run to the Flamin' Beach every day. Honestly, I probably should have been clay farming here from the start, but oh well, it's been a doozy of a run so far, so what can I say? By the 2-hour mark, I was getting close to purchasing the big coop after collecting another 193 clay on the farm. But what of the second hour for our good friend Tea Leaves McGee? I finally had the tea sapling recipe and enough materials to make 40 immediately, earning a crazy 20,000 gold just like that. Now that I had these riches, I went to commission my coop, but since Robin opens at 9 AM, I spent some time in the mines to get the ball rolling collecting copper. I also found my earth crystal for the mayo machine. I then headed to Robin's later in the day, and I had to buy a fair bit of wood and a bit of stone in order to afford the coop. But I wasn't worried about this as I had money for days as a tea sapling entrepreneur. I commissioned my coop and then slept 2 days until it was done, spending a little bit of time collecting a few more materials to craft more tea saplings. I then returned to Robin's and immediately commissioned the big coop. The next day happened to be a best luck day, so I made the most of it and headed straight back to the mines, as I'd foolishly failed to collect the 50 copper I needed the first time time I was in the mines. Regardless, I had the copper pretty quick, so I returned to the farm, slept, and headed to the river to wait for Marnie's to open, as I had my big coop ready, so it was duck time. I smelted and fished while waiting, before buying the hero duck and heading to Clint's to put the pickaxe in to upgrade to copper. I then slept 2 days and went to pick up the completed pickaxe. I returned home, gave my new duck a pat to hopefully inspire him to produce an egg ASAP, and then slept until a best luck day. When that lucky day dawned, I headed to the mines and powered down to level 45 with my newly minted copper pickaxe. I was lucky enough to pick up the forest sword, which will be super handy until I get to level 90 and replace it with the obsidian sword. I collected enough iron ore to craft 5 iron bars, at which point I immediately left, as I wanted to upgrade the pickaxe again, as steel pickaxes destroy the rocks in levels 40 to 80 in 1 hit rather than 2. I returned to bed, and the next day I headed to fish in the ocean, except the festival was being set up. Flamin' townspeople and their stinky festivities. I returned the next day and got to fishing, as I figured it was time to begin leveling up to progress towards catching the super cucumber. Also, it was something to do while smelting my iron bars. And so the 2-hour mark was upon us. It's pretty clear that Tea Leaves McGee was in the lead. He had his big coop and duck. He was down to level 45 in the mines and almost ready to put in for the steel pickaxe upgrade. On the other hand, Clay Lover 3000 was having a bit of a stinky one. He didn't quite have the big coop, he hadn't quite put in his copper pickaxe to upgrade yet, though he did at least have the materials for it, and he was only down to level 20 in the mines. On the plus side, he did have a lead in fishing level. Tea Leaves McGee was closer to the duck mayo and strange bun, but at least Clay Lover 3000 was closer to the super cucumber. The third hour for the clay method began with fishing while waiting for Robin's to open. I then sold her all my clay and commissioned the big coop. Thankfully, I'd collected enough wood and stone for this from clearing the farm and diving in the mines, so I saved a big chunk of change by not needing to buy any extra. I then headed to Clint's and put in for the copper pickaxe upgrade. I slept 2 days waiting for the upgrade to finish and then headed to the river to fish before buying my duck and collecting my copper pickaxe, which is pretty much exactly what Tea Leaves McGee did, except like half an hour ago. I then did 2.5 days of clay collecting on the farm, enough to make the 5 grand gold needed for the steel pickaxe upgrade. I gave my duck some friendly pats while I was at it. Hopefully she will poop me out one legendary egg. I then sold all my clay and slept until a best luck day, then headed to the mines to get some iron ore. Just like Tea Leaves McGee, I lucked out and got the forest sword, so that's handy. I got down to level 45 and collected the iron ore for the 5 iron bars. Except I had a stinker and accidentally left with 24 ore, not 25. I don't know what happened here, but let's just say there's a goose on the loose, and the goose is me. I chain slept and smelted my 4 iron bars before returning to the mines for my 1 iron ore. I also reset level 20 a bunch until I found the earth crystal I need for the mayonnaise machine, which I hadn't managed to find until now. I then ran to Clint's and fished a bit while waiting for the last iron bar to finish smelting, and then turned in the pickaxe for its steel upgrade. I stopped by the saloon to spend my remaining gold on salad for energy in the mines, and then returned home to discover my duck had diligently provided me with a couple of eggs. So I crafted a mayo machine and slapped an egg in. And so for Clay Lover 3000, the duck mayo section of the run was complete at 2 hours and 44 minutes. I then slept until the steel pickaxe was done, ran to Clint's and got some fishing in. I was up to level 4 by this point, before grabbing the pickaxe and returning home to sleep until a best luck day. It was off to the mines to hit floor 90, and at the 3-hour mark, I'd reached about floor 73. But enough of Clay Lover 3000's story for now. We need to check in on Tea Leaves McGee. Back at the 2-hour mark, the tea sapling speedrunner was fishing the day away, all the way up to almost level 3 fishing, while smelting iron bars. By the way, the super cucumber spawns in the ocean during summer in the evening hours between 6 PM and 2 AM. So I did actually hook one on this day, but they're pretty hard to catch with a difficulty rating of 80, so I failed. The next day, I fished outside Clint's until 9 and then put the pickaxe in for its steel upgrade. I returned home to discover a fresh duck egg, but when I went to make my mayo machine, my earth crystal was missing in action. But I was pretty sure I'd left it in the ocean fishing chest, so I wasn't too worried. By the way, this duck egg was 22 minutes quicker than Clay Lover 3000. I slept a couple of days, returned to Clint, repeated the whole fish while waiting for shops to open routine, and then picked up my steel pickaxe. I then slept until a best luck day and headed straight to the mines. On my way, I picked up some grapes. Vincent loves these, so they'll be handy as gifts for that fruit-loving little gremlin. With the power of my juicy steel pickaxe, I got from level 45 to level 90 by 5 PM, and I got my hands on the obsidian sword. I spent the rest of the day resetting level 85 and killing shadow brutes. As I mentioned, these have a 4% chance to drop my strange bun, so probability suggests I need to kill about 25. But luck treated me fairly nicely and I got the strange bun in just 16 kills after only 6 minutes of resetting level 85. That was a 2 hours and 44 minutes strange bun. And so it was that Tea Leaves McGee was building an even bigger lead on poor Clay Lover 3000. I ran home, slept, and headed straight to the beach to fish my way towards my final item, the Super Cucumber. Thankfully, the Earth Crystal was indeed chilling in the ocean chest, so I chucked that in my bags to make sure I didn't forget it, and then I got to fishing. And by the time 6 PM came around, I was almost level 5 fishing. After a jam-packed third hour, Clay Lover 3000 has his duck mayo, and he's about 75 floors deep in the mine on his way to brutally murdering a bunch of shadow brutes in hopes of claiming a strange bun. His fishing level is around level 4, so once he's got the bun, he's reasonably close to being able to snag a Super Cucumber. Tea Leaves McGee, on the other hand, essentially has his duck mayo, and he already has conquered the mines and collected his strange bun. He's close to level 5 fishing. He is within sniffing distance of catching this weird purple sock monster. Don't forget though, both speedrunners need to raise their friendship with Vincent to level 2 and of course actually place all 3 items in all 3 boxes. There is a fair bit of luck involved in getting both the strange bun and the Super Cucumber, so anything could happen. As the clock ticked past 3 hours, the Clay method run continued in the mines, diving to level 90 and reaching it by the 3 hour and 4 minute mark. And boy oh boy, it was time to kill some shadow brutes. Meanwhile, all our T method had to do was fish. It was past 6 PM on a summer evening, and therefore Super Cucumbers had a chance to spawn. They are, however, a rare fish, and even when you do hook them, they have a difficulty of 80, which is pretty tricky at low fishing levels. I didn't even hook a single Super Cucumber until 10 PM after about 20 casts. This was my chance to end the run and win the race, but after an intense battle, I lost him. This failure reminded me to actually eat the damn trout soup I had, which gives +1 fishing skill. But it wasn't much use because when I hooked another Super Cucumber at 10:40 PM, I lost it almost immediately, and I didn't hook another one for the rest of the night. I'd had an absolute stinker, and the worst part is I now had to wait around until 6 PM for another shot at the elusive Super Cucumber. On the plus side, I had managed to reach level 5 fishing. Tea Leaves McGee's failure at the beach presented an opportunity for our Clay method, who was busy killing shadow brutes. If a strange bun drops for him, he could catch up in an instant. I was spam resetting level 85 looking for brutes, but after killing only 10 and with no strange bun in sight, it reached 2 AM. But I kept at it and returned in the morning. I surpassed Tea Leaves McGee's total of 16 brutes killed, then 20. Then 25, and then 30. And finally, on my 31st Shadow Brute kill, after 15 minutes of farming, I got the strange bun. At the 3 hours and 19 minute mark, this was a full 35 minutes slower than Tea Leaves McGee. But it wasn't over yet. While Clay Lover 3000 had been desperately trying to get his strange bun, Tea Leaves McGee had made a potentially disastrous mistake. After failing 2 Super Cucumbers in a row, I was paranoid that I couldn't catch the damn thing unless I leveled up some more. So I had made the choice to fish the entire day up until 6 PM. Aiming to hit level 6 fishing so that with a trout soup, I'd have an effective level 7 fishing. The thing is, this meant that at 3 hours and 20 minutes into the race, when Clay Lover 3000 finally got his strange bun, Tea Leaves McGee was chilling on the beach at 1:30 PM in the afternoon, 4.5 in-game hours away from even being able to hook a Super Cucumber, let alone catch one. Despite falling disgustingly far behind, our Clay method was in with a chance due to the lack of urgency being shown by the T method. And so as Clay Lover 3000, I left the mines clutching my hard-earned strange bun. I used my time before 6 PM to place the duck mayo in the sneaky box in the back room of Gus's saloon and picked up the Pinky Lemon statue, also known as Gus's favorite toy. I then ran and gave Vincent a gold star grape, which is a loved gift for him and brought me up to 2 hearts of friendship. Now, while it is true that Clay Lover 3000 had made a few mistakes, I had at least managed to give Vincent a cheeky grape or 2 at random points throughout the run. And so combined with his Spring 10 birthday gift and this final gold grape, it was enough. And so now that I had the young boy's trust, I of course immediately ran to his room and stole his favorite toy, Foroguemon. Suddenly the Clay method had secured 2 statues and all that was left to do was fish. I ran down to the beach hoping to buy a trout soup from Willie, but I missed my chance like a big fat sloth. I was only at level 4 fishing, so I was a whole level and a half behind Tea Leaves McGee. And without a trout soup, it was gonna be tough. Suddenly, it was down to this. Which of these gooses could catch a Super Cucumber first? And so my friends, if you will indulge me for this final stretch of the race. I'm going to be referring to the contestants in the third person, and I'm going to commentate this like a horse race. Even though both of these contestants are indeed me, and this is indeed the height of nonsense. It's 3 hours and 26 minutes into the race, and Tea Leaves McGee has finally reached that crucial time window between 6 PM and 2 AM. All he needs to do now is hook a super cucumber, and his superior fishing level could see him run away with this competition. Meanwhile, it's 8:10 PM for Clay Lover 3000, but he is yet to hook a single super cucumber. He's fortunate here because he's found himself a bubble spot. Perhaps with an increased bite rate, he can snag the coveted purple fish. And oh, by jingo, he's hooked one. He's battling fiercely to keep it on the line, and oh yeah, he's failed. He failed. Oh, but he's hooked another one. Back-to-back super cucumbers on the line, and oh yeah, he's failed again. Looks like level 4 fishing isn't gonna cut it for Clay Lover 3000. Oh, but what's this? Tea Leaves McGee has hooked one now. Oh, and he's let it off the hook. Both contestants are having an absolute pooper. Things have slowed down after that flurry of activity, and our lover of clay is catching everything he hooks in hopes of getting his fishing level up to 5. Tea Leaves McGee is already level 6, so if he sees something that he knows isn't a super cucumber, it looks like he's actually cancelling the minigame and casting his line out again. He doesn't want to waste any more time. And here he goes at the 3 hours and 29 minute mark. Oh, he's about to lose it. He's battling nobly. Okay, this is it. Like, this is actually just pretty easy. All right, he did it. That was underwhelming. And now he's off, running with tremendous gusto, fleeing the wharf with his super cucumber in hand. Now he just needs to place it in the hidden box behind the blacksmith. He's running straight there, and bam, there it is. Hujumatuf, also known as Clint's favorite toy. He holds the secret statue aloft in pure adulation. Meanwhile, Clay Lover 3000 is having no luck whatsoever hooking another super cucumber. But he's still got a few hours left before he passes out. Don't count the lover of clay out just yet. Remember, he's already got the other 2 statues. If he can catch the super cucumber tonight, it'll be all over. Tea Leaves McGee is heading home. He needs to grab his duck mayo and his strange bun, and he needs to start throwing gifts at Vincent ASAP. It looks like he's accidentally sold all of his potential gifts for Vincent. This could be a disaster. Oh, but luckily he's spotted a couple of grapes. Very handy. Vincent loves those, the little gremlin. He's grabbed those, but now he's got to wait outside Vincent's house like a weirdo until 9 AM. Then he'll have to wait until 12 PM to get access to the saloon where he can drop off the duck mayo and claim the pinky lemon statue. This is all valuable time for Clay Lover 3000 to catch up, but our clay method run is having no luck whatsoever. After hooking 2 super cucumbers in quick succession earlier, he can't seem to hook another to save his life. He's running out of time. He's fought hard, but he is running out of time. All right, look at this. He's finally gained access to Vincent's house and given the young man a grape. But it is not enough. He hasn't reached 2 hearts, and he cannot access the bedroom yet. It might not matter though, because it's reached 1 AM for Clay Lover 3000, and the poor bloke is yet to see another bloody super cucumber. It's devastating to watch. And now Tea Leaves McGee is running around like an absolute peanut waiting for 12 PM so he can access the saloon. And what's this? He's passing time fishing in the fountain. That is a disgrace, if I'm honest. What is this idiot doing? Meanwhile, Clay Lover 3000 is fishing his heart out. Oh, and this is devastating to see, but it looks like the poor fella has passed out. That almost certainly spells the end of his run. He's got to wait around until 6 PM tomorrow to get another shot at the elusive fish. And I think that's going to give Tea Leaves McGee plenty of time to tie up loose ends. Okay, now it's time to leave commentator mode because the commentator is indeed right. The race is over. Clay Lover 3000 was unable to pull out the clutch comeback. As Tea Leaves McGee, I eventually got into the saloon and put the duck mayo in the box, securing Gus's favorite toy, Pinky Lemon. I then returned home to sleep and once again waited around outside Vincent's until 9 AM. This time, it was enough. I barged into his room and rifled through his toy box. Vincent's favorite toy, Foroguemon, was mine. With a time of 3 hours, 42 minutes, and 23 seconds, I was finally done. Victory for Tea Leaves McGee, a worthy victory indeed. Meanwhile, Clay Lover 3000 was standing around like an idiot waiting for 6 PM. And guess what? I didn't even get it that night. I did finally get it the next night after waiting around like a schmuck for another entire in-game day, and I pulled off a time of 4 hours, 5 minutes, and 59 seconds. A full 23 minutes slower than Tea Leaves McGee. The T-sapling method has proven superior in this speedrun race, securing all 3 secret statues in under 4 hours. Have you ever wondered what Stardew Valley challenge mode would be like? Check out this video and wonder no more. Cheers.